Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. Sean James here from My Self-Reliance. If you take a look behind me, you'll see the river runs through the north end of the property. And the reason I'm here at this location today is I'm going to get started on the log cabin, the first real log cabin on the property. This is going to be a permanent structure, and it's going to house my wife and I, and so it's going to be a bug-proof, mouse-proof, and animal-proof solid cabin that we can escape from the elements and heat up in the winter, and make it a really cozy, comfortable place to live if need be. It's going to be totally off-grid. I'm going to build it 100% with free materials. I'm going to get as much of the material from the property as I can in the form of trees, rocks, clay, other resources for making a fire pit, foundation, log walls, split cedar roof, and what else? I'm going to dig a well in one of the low spots in behind me, far enough away from the stream that's going to filter in. So we're going to have a fresh water from here. Going to build a privy up along the slope down that way, just downwind from the cabin. And yeah, this is going to be a perfect spot to have a permanent off-grid home that somebody could live in, and I'm going to do it virtually for free. We're going to start today by clearing this cabin area. I'll show you why I chose the spot, and we're going to start the foundation with the rocks, start gathering rocks for fireplace and foundation. So this stream is a year-round stream. We can draw water from it. However, got a nice low area here, 50-60 feet back from the water's edge. So we're going to dig a well somewhere down in here, and we'll be able to draw some water from the pond over there, from the creek I mean. So you can see that there's a tree right here that's got a rub on it. That's actually that's a white pine, which I don't have a lot of here, but that white pine has been rubbed by a bull moose. So major wildlife area. In fact, that beaver dam right there crossing, that's a crossing for bear, deer, and probably smaller game as well, smaller wildlife. And big beaver meadow over the other side of the trees there. And up here we have hemlocks, big tall hemlocks, and some big sugar maples. So we'll tap those trees next spring. Okay, so the spot that my wife and I picked out earlier in the winter when it was covered in snow looked like the ideal spot for a cabin. I'm really second guessing that, so I'm going to change locations here. So you can see down in there, down in that low area, beautiful spot. It's down closer to the water, but because it is closer to the water, the ground is really soft. So if we put a cabin there, the thing is just going to sink into the ground. And with the big roots from the hemlock there and that hemlock, they're going to be pretty solid, so the cabin's going to end up sinking into the ground and then getting hung up on those roots, and then who knows where it's going to settle. It's going to be at a level for sure. And the other thing is that the logs are going to rot, the ones at the ground level. But probably bigger concern even than that, because you know, I'm not going to live 100 more years. That huge hemlock right there, that's actually leaning towards the cabin, and if it topples, it's headed right for the cabin. It's going to wipe it out. So luckily, we're not up far from that spot. We're still close to the river. I'm up on this elevated platform right here. It's relatively level. I can make it level with the rocks. Ground is much more solid, and there's actually a lot of rock here already. So I'll just start moving those into place and get a foundation built, and let's get that going and see if we can get some logs in place today. Get caught up to where I was on the other cabin, and then just keep going at this one when I can get up here, and going back to the other cabin at my friend's place. Less often, but throughout the process, so I can get that one done as well. Priority though is going to be to get this one done before probably August, so that we can start occupying it. So I'm going to get to work here. So what I'm trying to do here is get the foundation down to a mineral soil. The top layer, and you can see the rotten stump here, but all the compost, all the leaves and all the debris that have composted over the years creates a nice deep topsoil on top, very rich, but it's almost all organic. But right under that, down a few inches, you go from that dark, rich organic soil down to the sand and clay mix. That's going to be a lot more stable than the organic mulch on top, or organic compost. So if I get this down to sand, even though it's spring and it's kind of draining through here, I'm going to divert that water down through there around the cabin, but it's wet, but it's still pretty stable in there where the sand is. This land up here is very sandy, so it drains really well. Sandy and rocky, so there's a lot of rocks in here too. So I'm going to take all the organic topsoil out, get down to the sand base, and then I'm going to fill it back in with all these small rocks, and then in each of the corners, and then at least 2 intermediary points on each wall, each base log, I'm going to prop up to the full height as well. So I've got a level log that's got 4 pillars essentially. And then I'm going to collect a whole bunch of rocks, and on the back side there, facing north, I'm going to have the fireplace. So I should be able to get this done today, get all this foundation dug up, get the stones in there, maybe even get those first logs down. This is the reason you usually cut log cabin logs in the spring. So it's April 20th today. Temperature has been above zero, above freezing for a bit now, and the sap is running. So this bark, you saw me debarking in the winter, those spruce trees and cedar trees up at the other cabin I'm building, and it just holds right on, right? So the sap is running on the cambium layer here, and because it's loose from the old growth, from the growth from last year. So you can just take that and take it right off, and you can actually eat that. It's soft, and actually really sweet. But very wet. Good, very good. So, as you can see, this is balsam fir. Nice and straight, less knots, and the knots are coming off flush when I skin them with this sharp forest axe. So I don't think I have my my draw knife with me today, but next time I'm up, I'll cut some logs, fresh logs, and debark them immediately with the draw knife. But this is coming off nicely. I actually brought an ice scraper too, a stand, like a long-handled ice scraper, which can be used as a bark spud. Better on logs bigger than this. You take the bark from the side here and pry it off that way. It comes off in huge chunks. Green lumber is nice to work with because it's so soft, but of course it dries out and shrinks over the course of the season, 4 seasons really. So by fall, this will have shrunk quite a bit, so when I do my notches, I'm going to have to be aware of that and try to allow for some shrinkage. So a proper draw knife or a little hewing axe with a flat side, which I do have in the truck, to actually skin that pretty quick. See how the axe can get down the side of it like that? Supposed to have some rain coming in south of here. It's calling for heavy rain with thunderstorms. But up here in South River, hasn't started yet. It's like 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so I'm not sure if we're going to get any today. Sure, at some point we will, but I've got the tarp set up, and I've got rain gear, so I'll probably keep working right till dark.